You live your whole life, and then in 1 second you learn what it's like for primal terror to swallow you, mind and body. He was standing in the hallway, lit only on his left side by the bulb. Just as he appeared in the photograph I'd found, he was very small, much shorter than his brother, my father, Eric. The family had said he'd always been boy-faced and a bit skinny. Now, standing there, he looked old and sick as well. But he looked angry, too. Not for a moment did I think he was alive, and some terrible mistake had been made. I knew, instinctively, that he was not really there, that I was looking at Herman in the depleted physical state he had died in. "He was wrong," he said again, his whole body trembling slightly. He jabbed his finger toward me, almost in tears. "I could have been a chemist. I had the grades." I think I tried to speak then, but wasn't able. Uncle Herman kept his finger pointed in a threatening way, as if it were up to me to change the past. He turned with creaky slowness and took a couple of steps deeper into the hallway toward the kitchen, leaving all light behind him, becoming a silhouette. He turned back just before he reached the threshold of the other room. His face was a black blur, but his voice was still clear. "There's a fourth body, you know," he said, voice hoarse. "Shovel still in the shed."
Knife Point Horror. Tales of supernatural suspense written, produced, and narrated by Soren Narnia. Now transmitting from SpectreVision Radio, anywhere you hear podcasts.
SpectreVision Radio.
Telemetry and launch condition.
Well, some other observers are...
Hey, it's late night.
It's late night on the astral plane, where it's never too late. With your host, Brian Singer.
It's more fun to believe.
Welcome to another voyage of Late Night on the Astral Plane. This is, I hesitate to call you, or call me the captain. But we are on a voyage here on the Astral Plane, late night. I'm here with my good friend, stand-up comedian Gilbert Lawand.
Hi, everyone.
Lawand?
Well, if you're going to say Lawand, I ask you to be consistent and go Gilbert Lawand.
Gilbert Lawand.
I'm fully French.
Because I do call you Gilbert a lot as a joke.
Yeah, well,
I'm always Gilbert.
And I'm like, yeah, come see, come saw. That's how I am.
Yeah. So I say your name so many different ways all the time that
That's true.
I've now become. Wait, what was the original way? the right way?
What is your actual name?
What's the name of the special you just put out not that long ago?
Iraqi-born Georgia bred.
Iraqi-born Georgia bred. It's available where on YouTube?
It's on Amazon Prime, on Apple Plus.
Oh, careful about that.
Oh, sorry.
We do hear that.
Apple Plus and Amazon Prime. It's still not free because I don't know how the inner workings of a of a platform that licensed it. So it's on. Actually, you can watch it free on Amazon with commercials. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. So
it's a long answer, but yeah, that's the usual places.
Well, no, I think it's not a long or short answer. It's just the answer.
Oh, okay. I'll be more long-winded from now on.
That is the nature of a podcast. Now we've had sprawling conversations on this show over the years, back when it was me and Paranormal U, and we've recorded in this very room before.
We have.
We've recorded all over the place in many different locations.
Yeah.
No, I'm just giving the very I'm just giving what is it, metadata on our past.
You'll have to mine it to get the nuggets out.
So, but what's interesting about this area is the last time I was here, we went and saw a bunch of abandoned satellites.
Yeah.
And I'm just now remembering this. I don't think I was planning on bringing this up, but give me the backstory on these satellites again, if you don't mind.
So there are these two massive satellites with a receiving station in about 10 miles from here, less than in a town called Woodbury. It's actually, for the local people, it's called the Cove, because that's where you go hide out. But it's like from the 60s. It's like one of the original SETI satellites where they're listening for aliens. And it's, I don't know when it was abandoned. It was like, it's been a few decades. I actually know the guy who bought them. And if you're a Walking Dead fan, I can't remember what season it was, but there was half the season almost where the plot where they find people and the people are worse than the monsters. That episode, that's all of them. No, there was one where they were holed up in a big satellite sort of complex, and that's where it was filmed. It's pretty immense, and it's like we saw it at night, which is the best time to see it because it looks really like, I don't know, it just looks really daunting or ominous. They're just so big, pointed straight up.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, and it's this idea too that they can. I don't know what age you were, but I was probably in my late 30s before I realized, adults just abandon things.
Yeah, that's funny. That's true.
I mean, outside of children and families, we're talking about giant, in what world do
I never thought about
SETI satellites just get abandoned?
Gigantic amounts of metal and technology. No foresight that it possibly has to be able to have another use. It's like, what can we use high technology and complex electrical nodes for in this day and age? But you're right. They're just like, all right, it actually makes the real estate go down.
Yeah, it's like these really cool technological relics remain and have decreased the value and have been abandoned. And then a guy, he comes in and he just buys the land, right?
Yeah, Ace Amerson. Some of you have heard of him. He's like a former reality TV star. He was on what's it called? What's the first one's called?
What, Real World?
Real World
Rules?
It was Real World Paris. Super hot. I mean, he's not hot. I'm cute. He's hot. No, he's a good guy though. He's really into space stuff and ancient civilization type things. He does. Maybe I should try to contact him, see if he'll give us a good tour.
I mean, I can't believe you've never done that before. I'm actually kind of mad at you. This is my fourth time visiting the compound.
It's the third and a half time.
The third and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
I work in halves now.
Yeah. So, what's interesting too is, whether or not these things can still work, and and to what purpose could they serve? Are you familiar with the hyperbolic ear?
I don't think so.
Wait, yeah, hyperbolic ear, I believe. Even though hyperbole is crazy, but ear.
Oh.
It's a little device. You can get them on Amazon or whatever. A lot of paranormal researchers, investigators will use them. When you're out in the woods, you're squatching or something, or maybe in a haunted house. You put little headphones in that plug into them, and it looks like a megaphone kind of thing. It's got that, it's like a mini satellite dish kind of thing.
Okay.
That it's directional for directional sound, and you move around and you can hear very clearly from far away.
So it's like
by pointing in this specific area.
Eavesdrop, is it used for that?
It's probably it probably originated as a spy device. You're probably right.
Oh wow, okay. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know if you do a lot of eavesdropping.
I
always thought it was eavesdropping.
I think it's
It's eaves.
It is, yeah, eavesdrop.
EAV.
Yes.
Dropping.
A V seems like it's silent. And I don't like my V's to be silent.
I don't like my V's to be silent. I like them to speak up. I like to know where they're at.
Yeah.
Don't be like my clan members.
Exactly.
I want to know where you're at.
Where you're at. I want consent. I want it all.
So, yeah, it probably was an eavesdropping device originally, is what it started off with. But so I guess my question is that we don't have the answer to, that I don't expect you to have the answer to, is you have former satellite dishes that were utilized by SETI.
Right.
Search, for extraterrestrial intelligence. SETI, right? Which is the coolest thing ever that we've probably made as a country or as just a humans, right?
Yeah.
And that whole program's been disbanded to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah.
I might be mistaken, but SETI's just been kind of, I think it wasn't that long ago, maybe in the last 15 years, 20 years, that it just kind of got shut down, lost its funding.
Yeah, I think they saw it coming a little bit because it's a great idea, and I'm like proud to think about our country even funding that in any time period. But like I think what came to pass a little bit more and more became known, or they realized that listening to radio waves, like it's like a drop in the bucket to look for extraterrestrial life, but also it's such a immense area that we're talking about, because we're not even talking about the solar system. So even if like an intelligent species was emanating some radio waves, so from like the closest the stars are like thousands of light years away, so it wouldn't even be a practical. It would be an amazing discovery, obviously, if we knew it for sure, but it wouldn't even be like anything localized or anything that would be able to be followed up on, because we'd send them a message and be like a few thousand years later, we'd be like, well, we'll wait on the reply.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? I think that's why
I do. I know exactly what you mean. And what it makes me think of is this is probably a ridiculous analogy, but because it would be an amazing discovery. But I mean, as was gravity when gravity was discovered. Guess what? I've never met gravity. I don't have a beer with gravity. I don't shake hands with gravity. Gravity is just there. It's around us. But like, so it's, like I said, this is a ridiculous analogy.
No, I think that's where you're going.
See gravity. I mean, I can see its effects.
Mm-hmm.
I can also see the effects of extraterrestrial intelligence. I would argue as a paranormal head, right? I mean, the fact that we're even using, Zoom technology, internet, Wi-Fi, all these things. We were talking about this late last night about the advancements of technology and how crazy it's been in Gen X's lifetime, let alone Gen X has seen the before, and now we're in the middle of it all. And it's not, and it's an extremely short period of time where we've made these leaps and bounds in technology, and yet, well, maybe have some of us lost our mind because of it. I mean, who knows, right?
Oh, no, I think we do know for sure. Some people have.
You can look around and you can see the results of kind of there's an element of society that's a little bit frantic. I don't think we're built to evolve that quickly spiritually to be able to process global grief on such a mass scale, which we now do have to do on a daily basis. Whether people are being shot in schools or assassinated at speaking events,
they're always being that,
and it's happening every day, and now we don't get a break from it.
Yeah.
And it's hard for the human creature spiritually, I think, let alone physically, to process that grief. It's like we're lactose intolerant and we've been given 17 gallons of ice cream we have to eat every day now.
Yeah, I think I never thought about it in that way. It's very valid thinking, because we always invent a technology for a use before we understand what it is. Like, in other words, when we have quantum mechanics, where we have this quantum entanglement for these transistors, and we don't know, so we still don't know like how that works at the base molecular level, but yeah, we still know the implications of it. So the use of it becomes like its use becomes functional for us without even knowing what it really is. I mean, you can say that about anything. Our bodies, we can't create anything near this complex, but we use it. But like, so this technology that we're using, that's so quickly thrust upon us in a exponential way. Technology wasn't developed in a linear, like direct way. It was just all of a sudden spiked, and then before we realize the implications of it, or even most of us don't even know how it works, we're just using it nonstop, not knowing anything about it really. And it's like
we become intermeshed.
We seem to always do that. Like the nuclear, fission fusion, we're like, oh, what is it? Like, so we invent it and we like come up with a sinister use for it before we even understand it. And then we go on this long Cold War to like develop it. And like, instead of, I don't know, it's like, it's always the use of it precedes the knowledge of it, truly.
Humanity has oftentimes, I won't say always, but I will say oftentimes, seemingly, been given a fork in the road, and we always go to the dark side.
Yeah.
And it's sad and it's unfortunate. But it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I was doing jokes on stage about AI and, the singularity.
Yeah.
And most people didn't know what I was referencing.
Yeah, yeah.
And now here we are where everyone is, I mean, these huge data centers are being built that people are talking about capitalism and progress and efficiency of the workplace. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you mean these robots that are now drinking all of our water?
I know, it's like the natural resources are already being extinguished or at least strained, and then we're like, well, we're going to be okay. We'll figure. And then the new thing is to use even more, way more of those natural resources, as we're now striving to like try to have a sustainable life with nature and with our natural resources. We're like, oh, here comes a much more problematic use of it. I mean, because it's crazy. Like once they are really up and running, that's a good point. Like they're going to be doing
robot. I mean, who would have known? Who would have guessed that? Oh, y'all are going to run out of water. Oh, what happens? The robots are going to drink it. Wait, robots robots don't need water. And then it's like, oh, turns out all this chat GBT stuff. Every time someone types into an AI engine, show me a dog that is driving a car with my grandma's photo on its face. It's like that's using water.
Look how amazing this looks real. It's so and so, and like, you know, playing baseball with this historical figure. It's like, or interviewing somebody else. It's like, okay, maybe just tell me that it could do that. I don't need to see it for like the use of the use of water. Like, do you know any like statistics on that? I can't remember what they were, but the amount of water it takes.
I've heard it a few different times, and one time from someone who actually worked in the field, and it was to the point where it's like, please don't ever tell me that again, because I will never sleep and I just want to cry until I'm dead.
Yeah.
But the point is, I think what drives that is we have, and obviously this is a little inside baseball from people who consider themselves artists and performers, but we have a huge culture crisis of people don't care about culture or valuable, or what's a better way to say this? People have, this is going to sound elitist, but people have zero taste in art, and they don't care about art. Maybe that's a better way to say it. They don't care about art.
They don't care about art that's created from a common human condition. Feel like they care for some reason seemingly more about AI art than regular art, which they care about like how it's created rather than what it's evoking, what kind of,
and all the morals are out the window because all of it is sourced from artists' work that aren't being paid.
It's literally plagiarism. I mean, at the highest degree, it's like none of it is literally original work.
But here's the brilliance of it. It's not plagiarism when you're plagiarizing. It's almost to the point where, like, when too much of a good thing becomes bad, too much of a bad thing becomes good.
Yeah.
Because there are thousands of artists being plagiarized in one generated image by AI, right?
Yeah.
Potentially. I don't know. I'm taking a guess.
No, I know what you're saying.
And
make the point.
And it's so now it absconds all responsibility from the person doing it. Well, I'm stealing from so many people now that I can't even wrap my brain around it.
You can't point to the actual any one thing that will hold up in the court of law. It's like, yeah, this is pulled from everybody, and then they'll argue, well, that's how human intellect comes from.
It's something very small. I remember looking into this years ago because I was having a conversation with someone about satire, logo satire, and things like that. How much do you actually have to change? Like, let's say a T-shirt design, you want to use the golden arches, but you want to change it into something else, right? But everyone would know it's the golden arches for McDonald's. You only have to change it 10%. I think the threshold is 10%.
It's something like that. Something that's like your brain, as we all know, doesn't like analyze every little bit of anything. It jumps to conclusions in order to save energy or whatever. Like Ben Palmer, who's a guy who's is a comedian, but he's a professional troll, and he does that, but he does it in a very amazingly funny way where he'll have the city of Atlanta's emblem, and it's very slightly different, and he'll reply to rednecks and racists as on behalf of the city of Atlanta. And when you look at it, you're like, I think 10% is probably right because it's so close to it, but maybe one letter is off or maybe one little thing, and that's exactly what AI basically does, right?
Yeah. And it's now listen, I'm not going to sit here and act like it's not bonkers what it can do.
Yeah,
because it's mesmerizing what it is actually capable of.
I'm also not going to say that it's not I've been using it lately, but not for artistic stuff. It's more and this is the telling of how certain jobs are going to go away, sort of spreadsheet work and actual like a sort of accounting. So where it's like if you have a piece of paper with a bunch of shit all over it, and you just put it in there and go, hey, put this in a spreadsheet for me that's workable, and not only will do it, it does it in like so quickly and organizes it. And I could have done it. It may have taken an hour or like two, whatever. So that part of it's helpful. And so that's probably the carrot that like just goes, no, you're going to be pro this.
Well, here's this. I'm glad you bring this up because this to me is the ultimate window into the depravity of AI.
Yeah.
And it is this. Everyone, and just like you just did, expounds upon the benefits of it. Like, oh, it gets rid of, it makes this so much easier. At the heart, at the baseline, underneath all of that is capitalism is more efficient, right? And that's all this is about.
Well, it is, but
and it's about making things easier, menial tasks quicker that make money, right? We're talking about efficiency in the workplace.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. But my optimistic viewpoint on it long term, and that's maybe me being optimistic, overly optimistic, is I think ultimately it's going to be the enemy of capitalism. Because when people keep saying, well, wow, this many percentage jobs are going to be taken away in 5 years, this many in 10 years, this many in 20 years, we're still thinking about it in a capitalistic monetary structure. Like people are like, how's the world going to work? How are people going to have money? Understand that an advanced species doesn't exchange money for stuff. Like if we hadn't hijacked all the physicists for several decades, and if we didn't have corporations hiding their patents from each other and countries hiding all their technology advances from each other, and somehow all of it was like focused in one thing, we wouldn't have jobs now. We would have flying cars right outside, and who owns them? Nobody, because everything is being made for you. Now, I'm not talking about the dangers of like AI becoming sentient and like taking over. I'm just talking about like the fact that jobs will be taken away, but if capitalism still rules, then yeah, it's going to just make the disparity bigger. But in reality, technology should alleviate the need for work.
So what you're saying is we don't even need universal income at that point.
No, I mean it's past universal. It's past even a monetary. It's a resource based a society where literally it's everything. Imagine something that like imagine
we have to evolve as a species past the need to hoard, to control resources, for power. And until that happens, it doesn't matter. So we get rid of money. Now someone's going to control the fresh water.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say is like this. That's why it's also preceding our ability to manage it. Like everything seems to be coming, or maybe our species is flawed in that we create a technology and we immediately try to start advancing it without knowing the implications. Because what I'm describing is a world where let's say the human beings advanced along with technology and a similar or similar or constant like rate of advancement, where we wouldn't have to do that. Because like I'm talking about like like imagine a time period where we've gotten past all that, and just like in that time period in the future, technology does everything for you because it's harness the energy of the sun, maybe has a Dyson sphere or something fueling this need for power and for AI. So your whole world is like now not existing on how am I going to pay the bills? It's because this technology is doing everything that's necessary for you. So the world is not based on what you do for a living. It's about how you're discovering your own sense of being a human and your own journey into the cosmos, whether you want to take it or not or whatever. So it's hard to imagine because everything does revolve around what you do. And like if they take that need away because of high technology, then it's like, well, what are you?
And when you live outside of that system, like we do, as people who try to go into the arts or whatever, you live in a very ambiguous world, and it's dicey.
Yeah,
and it can be very difficult sometimes. Well, it's interesting. This is an interesting. I had no idea we'd be talking about any of this.
I didn't either, right?
And I'm talking beyond the scope of my understanding on most of this stuff. I mean, I will gladly admit that. I have my like ideas about what could happen or the implications, and I can see what has happened specifically in stand-up comedy and the arts. And
it's not good,
and I don't love it.
I agree.
But I will say this: years ago, I had a bit about AI comment or robots waking up, and I was like, I remember that bit. There's only like a few different types of jobs they can't take. And that's like person to person. Like we're talking about counseling and psychologists, but now people are using Chat GPT as their therapist. It's insane.
It is insane, but that feel like I agree with you on that before. But I think therapist, just a everyday therapist, I think probably it's easily taken now. I flip because it is, and the therapist sometimes is just an echo chamber of like you want to get something out and you want a like helpful reply, but not like any real direction. That kind of therapist, they're going to dominate that. But I'm talking about a true therapist / life coach, directional person. No. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what we have here is we have the replacement of human connection on all levels, and with that is the very, very dangerous, in my opinion, future, because the more that we feel less connected, the more we feel isolated, the more we don't rely on community, the more we feel separate from, and everyone else is now the other.
And you're also setting up a situation where it's even easier for the robots to take over. We're no longer like
we're not communicating.
We're not communicating. We're not
no
loyal
community
to each other. We don't feel connected. And so when the takeover happens, it won't be like, oh, did you hear what happened yesterday? It's like, oh, wait a second. I don't even run my own life. Neither does my neighbor who I haven't seen in 2 weeks. But this, digital girlfriend of mine keeps yelling at me. So I'm going to go talk to her.
It's a lonely future.
It is actually.
It's a very lonely future. And I don't like the sound of it. Now, what I will throw a curveball here, and we'll talk about this when we come back. We got to take our first break.
Mm-hmm.
But what if I were to tell you that everything I'm saying is wrong and everything I believe is wrong? We're going to talk about that. This is actually kind of a fun continuation of last week's Voyage, where I had Ron Meyer and Mark Reeder on, and we were talking about self and other, and we were talking about being stuck in our own silos, and paranormal experiences can shake us out of our own personal echo chamber and bubble. Yeah. And now we've had a new experience that we didn't expect. It rattled us. Now we see the world in a completely different way. So when we come back, I'm going to posit an example, which isn't hard to come up with, about how I could be wrong about everything. So we're going to be right back with my buddy Gilbert Lawand. Hey, we're talking about, maybe we'll get into the large language model. I mean, we're already talking about that stuff. We're talking about the future of art. We're talking about the future of being a human, and where paranormal phenomena actually fits into this, whether it's a utopian or dystopian future, that is up for the individual to decide, I suppose, if we're given that much choice. So we're going to be right back. Patreon.com/Ryan Singer, $3 a month, no commercials ever. And over at the Patreon page. We'd love to see you over there. Let's keep the light turned on. We're going to be right back.
Hey friends, it's Daniel Noah here. I'm the director of SpectreVision Radio. So many of the ideas that permeate the genre stories we tell are actually based on real paranormal phenomena. The way we've represented these powerful experiences really only begin to scratch the surface, not just of the way they work, but of the way they feel. When the fine folks at Oni Press approached SpectreVision about creating a comic book series based on real paranormal phenomena, we jumped at the chance. High Strangeness is a series of 5 interconnected stories created by actual experiencers, committed to portraying the reality of paranormal experience as it truly is: strange, disorienting, beguiling, frightening, and awe-inspiring. It's got UFOs, cryptids, men in black, and I mean the real men in black, not the other men in black, synchronicities, interdimensional portals, a deep underground military base, and so much more. This October, Oni Press and SpectreVision are proud to present High Strangeness, a 5-part experiment in comic book storytelling, boasting an otherworldly cast of comic book talents like Christopher Cantwell, Christian Ward and Jock, Chris Condon, Ringo Award-winning artist Dave Chisholm, Cecil Castellucci, Timothy Renner of Strange Familiars, our own Jim Perry of Euphomet. Look for High Strangeness Book 1 on shelves October 8th at a local comic book shop near you. But be warned, when you look into the abyss looks back.
Okay, and we're back. If you're listening to this, that means you're back. And Gilbert and I are back. Gilbert and I are back. And okay, so we've been talking about, the future of, AI and all this other kind of stuff. Everybody's talking. I mean, it's obviously it's the number one issue on most people's minds, even though climate change should be number one, genocide should be 1B. Anyway,
Yeah.
But AI is quickly becoming a thing. Now, what if I was wrong about everything I believe? Because for some reason, I have bought into a myth that humans need human interaction to survive, not only to thrive, but to survive. There's that old study, and I can't even reference exactly who was it, about like back in the day when like scientists were like much more willing to take risks apparently with human lives, about a baby that wasn't touched after it was born and it like died. I can't even remember if that's real or not now, but the point, I remember hearing about this in like a science class and remembering like, because they were just really hammering home like we need each other. Human touch, human interaction, human connection, right? Comfort and community. It's very important. People who have paranormal experiences, they understand that. Shame, if it's shared, it is we unburden ourselves by talking about things that are shameful to us even, right? Which I think could be very helpful in society on a large scale, and we'd probably avoid a lot of the problems we have. But what if I'm wrong and humans don't need each other?
Well, I think that I don't think it's going to be like a binary thing, whether right or wrong. First of all, I think we'd have to define need, because sometimes it's like used in a term that it's like sort of meant for like definitionally, where it's like without it you will die. So that's what you're talking about with the baby thing, and and I've heard that same one. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but either way, what I think it means with human interaction and human contact is not a need. In other words, I think I could imagine a society where we are alienated from each other for the most part, but we still live like we need it. We don't even know we need it because we are born into a world where it's not prevalent and it's not something that's emphasized or even valued. So it could be like now we could be living with something that's missing that we don't even know is missing from enhancing and enriching our own lives. Like I think we were made as a species, or we came to evolve as a species with the need for social interaction. I think some animals, when you look at nature, some of them are dependent on social interactions. They live together. They grow old together. They feed together, and some of them are loners. But I think what might happen is like even a dystopian world. So if you're born into a dystopian world, I think everything is just like relativity. Like whereas everything is in your viewpoint and your world view is based on something else. Like nothing exists without a reference point. So if you're born into a dystopian world, yeah, you can be told that it's awful and it used to be great, but this is your world. Like this is like you may not even know you're miserable. Like you may not even know things that are missing from your life. So I think the need for social interaction from a human being standpoint is in order to live a life that's the most fulfilling and most conducive toward whatever you consider happiness or joy. But if without it, I don't think you're going to die, but I think you're going to miss out on things that you don't even know you're aware of missing. If that makes any sense.
It does. And I think what ties into this as well is this idea of being able to sell someone the idea that, around the bend in the future, you will receive a great reward for behaving in a way that I want you to. And I've long suspected that potentially those who are in control or whatever, right? They're on the inside of the inside. They're on the inside of the inside knowledge.
I agree.
And they know that there is no such thing as heaven. There's no such place as hell where you go and burn for your sins because you're a fascist, right? And you kill people. They know that. And that's what allows them to behave in such ways that seem insane to the rest of us.
Yeah.
But I mean, psychopathy is obviously a big part of that, and a lack of, feeling human empathy or connection also plays into that, obviously. But so I will sit here and I will admit that it's not beyond the realm of possibility that I'm completely wrong that human beings, quote unquote, need each other to, let's not say survive, but let's say thrive.
Yeah, that's better. I think it's more.
So accurate. We definitely need each other to thrive. Now, I do believe that. And I think the reason why I can say with 100% confidence that not only am I not wrong, I've never been more right. What if I told you this? This idea of human connection, it is so needed, and maybe the number one need, right? I'm going to go on the record right now and saying, I think we're talking away from physiological needs. to keep us alive.
Okay.
You know, air, sleep, food, water. Beside those things, I think it is the number one thing for survival and to thrive, because you can look at social media. What was the movie called? The Social Network.
Yeah.
Right. And so you have social media that connects you to other people. Right. And so people think this replaces actual human connection, when in fact it doesn't give you, it gives you a Diet Coke instead of a Coca-Cola Classic with the real sugar, the Mexican Coke. Right. You're not getting the real juice. Now, when people overload on it, it's because it's not filling them up.
Yeah.
And so they keep having more and more and more, right? Because
It's like cocaine.
because it's not 100%.
Yeah.
It doesn't do it. Yeah, right? So, but now we are throwing water on an oil fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that oil fire is the need for human connection. And the water is the internet and this illusion of connection to each other.
Yeah.
Which we don't really have, because there's no hormones, there's no endorphins being exchanged. There's no pheromones, I think is probably what the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's probably
we're not, what is it, 20 seconds or 30 seconds you have to hug someone to actually have an exchange of true energy. And I think the further we go into the future, it's probably going to be up to, I don't know if it's evolving. It's like, well, humans have become such assholes that it's going to be 60 seconds here.
Yeah, pretty sure you're going to have to take vacation days for it.
Yeah, like I need a hug day. Sorry.
So I was hugging yesterday all day.
So I have this hug machine at home. Although Temple Grandin did create the hug machine, which I thought was really, really cool. But anyway, the woman who created the cattle thing for more humane and
I know what you're talking about.
So cows aren't terrified to death before they're. We don't have to get into it.
Oh, I know.
But okay, so what if I told you that I don't believe anything I've just said this whole time? No,
I would believe that too. That's why I love Ryan. I'm just like, isn't it more fun to believe that Ryan believes it?
Isn't it more fun to believe that Ryan has zero beliefs? Now, I wonder, moving forward in the future, and we talked about this last night. Imagine being born into a world where now, as a kid, you have no idea if anything that you see is real.
Yeah.
Now, this has changed the world of the paranormal more. I would argue it has changed the paranormal world more than any other niche or subset of society.
Oh yeah.
In the world.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's got to be true. I mean, that has to be true, because now you're seeing things that you can see anything that anybody can make anything they want to make it look like. And because sometimes people want to believe, it's also very annoying that people want to mislead with, like the first time I like was misled on an AI video, I was so fucking mad. I'm just like, okay, you got me. For what purposes? I don't know.
Well, I think you're having a proper response because you're being lied to.
Yeah.
And deception usually has there's maybe a couple reasons why you would try to deceive a person. And one would be self-preservation. Like if you're worried about them hurting or destroying you, I suppose you lie to make that not happen. And then the other one is to try to get something from someone.
Fear or greed. That's just how
so
all of advertising works. Like, those are the two driving forces of making.
Who was it? It was Carl Jung's nephew, right? What's his name?
Oh no,
or Freud's
nephew.
Freud's nephew,
Edward Bernays.
Edward Bernays.
You're in my head right now because I was just about to bring that up, and I didn't. I was going to bring it up earlier, and I didn't because I'm pretty sure I brought it up in the last time we talked, because I love bringing it up in very valid situations, which this is. I haven't had another conversation.
Let's just say this real quick.
Yeah.
Let's say we have, I thought about this idea the other day. I want to have a Hall of Fame of hoaxers.
Oh yeah.
On this show where like we talk about
Rushmore.
We have the Mount Rushmore of bastards, right?
Yeah.
Of grifters and of hoaxers. So the Hall of Fame of hoaxers. Edward Bernays fits somewhere in this conversation.
100%.
And because he basically propaganda and advertising, it's a hoax. I would say it's a large scale hoax that's perpetrated on people. And, that's why the government is such a bad word, because there's been a propaganda for hundreds of years now, trying to make people think negatively about the word government. And it's worked. Reasonable people are always like, oh, the government. It's just like,
the government's people.
You're a victim of propaganda and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
You just want to shake them, wake up.
That's the beauty of it, and the impactfulness of it is that people don't realize it. It's basically, I mean, it was called propaganda. Edward Bernays is what's his name's nephew, and he took
Sigmund Freud,
and he took psychoanalysis and used it to create what he called propaganda, which he later changed to public relations. Basically, the first sort of advertising, like
every White House press secretary in the history of time.
He's changed our society globally more than anyone than you can ever imagine. Like
more than his uncle,
more than anyone that's existed, in my opinion. He took, like, there was a point where I think it was around the 40s and 50s where we became a consumer society. We weren't before that, believe it or not. Like, capitalism is based on consumer, like, consumer spending and a infinite growth model, which doesn't happen in any other entity. Why would it happen there? But there was a point where wants and needs were not like separate things. People in the 40s didn't buy a car because a new one came out and theirs wasn't cool anymore. That's when it started. That's when you had to have the new thing. Planned obsolescence became a thing. It's just, and then he like first was able to advertise to women to be able to smoke, and he did that with like this big thing at the Macy's Day Parade, a big event where women walked out and smoked. But then since then, he said it's so easy to manipulate large groups of people, and that he also said in a democracy you have to do that because he believes people are irrational in a democracy and uninformed, so you have to manipulate what their direction of their lives are. So that point, you should look him up. Ever since then, he was advised on the highest level. Every president throughout his life, and he lived to he was like 90 or something, had him come in, consult, and how to justify wars, and he was the main guy behind all of it.
Why is it always these assholes who live the longest? And
I know,
and I gotta say, like, he's just an all-time shitbag. And up until his death, he was like proud of what he did.
Yeah,
because he was just and his uncle, for the record, I know people are wondering, and I can't say this with absolute authority, but I can with pretty solid authority. His uncle Freud wanted nothing to do with this.
No, he didn't.
He wanted absolutely nothing to do with like all this garbage and evil shit that his nephew was up to.
It's akin to like somebody like discovering splitting atoms or fusing them, and then the scientist, and then somebody taking that to use,
and then his nephew saying, "Oh, yeah, it's so cool! I can use this as a bomb."
Exactly.
And like, that's no way I did this. And he goes, "Well, I'm gonna do it anyway."
Yeah, and it worked. Like, yeah, and I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of like Freud's the details of psychoanalysis, but just knowing that that's what he did, he had kind of like pioneered a certain area of psychology. I never would have thought that it would have been so effective that somebody could take it and apply it to a mass group of people and change the total direction of the human species. Like, that's the world is now, because of him, is now being filled with trash, with plastics, with planned obsolescence technology, with wants and needs being like reversed, and people's spending habits being dictated on how the economy grows. People being sick at a higher level is fueling an economy that grows by measure of gross domestic product, and totally out of its mind. It's like out of its mind.
It's crazy. Let's cheat you out just a little bit more to get you a little more or just a little more light on your
Oh yeah, I forgot we're on TV.
Your cheat, like, just out that way a little bit so I can see a little bit better.
Well, I don't want to see this because
no one can see that. No one can see that.
Pregnant.
Oh my God, this is where you heard it here first. Breaking news.
Pregnant with wonder.
With greed.
With greed.
With Bernays babies.
With Bernays. Now, so Bernays sauce. Next time you order that, just beware.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it is now. Obviously, he has disciples, and there's every White House press secretary, any spin master, anybody like that. Now, and it doesn't matter what side of the aisle they're on. They're all spin masters. Now, I don't want to go down that dark path.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is there's other people, obviously, who are at play here. You can come up with an evil playbook all you want. You need people who want to use it, and whatever. And so these titans of industry who have made the consumer feel responsible for recycling, or instead, even though they're not the ones making plastic, right? It's the displacement of responsibility. You have
segregation of duties, things that make you able to do your job and realize, feel like you're not responsible for the ultimate outcome or the repercussions.
Well, and it's so layered, whether it's whether it's using religion as a tool to control the minds, saying that human beings could never affect God's creation in a way that they're saying that scientists are saying climate change is happening because of man. What arrogance of man to think he can change God's create, right? I've had reasonable, smart people say that kind of stuff to me over the years.
Of course.
And it's like
it's even more prevalent now that people think like that.
Well, I mean, look at the decline in education in this country. We've been near the bottom for decades now.
Scientists are I agree, every group of people, no matter what they are, has a possibility of being corrupted. Scientists, in my opinion, are the last ones in general, like renowned scientists that are there to learn for purely the sake of finding things out, and the knowledge are the last people that are going to fall into a conspiratorial, like, agenda, right?
Yeah,
I would think. And I mean, that's why it's crazy that we've vilified a lot of them.
Let's pivot here. When it comes to the world of the paranormal, and let's also talk about, I mean, I would actually include in this, parapsychology, which in my opinion is a legitimate scientific endeavor, where you have, psychologists who, abide by that, by the scientific method, and they're anchored in materialism in many ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're more willing to, I guess, dabble in the tenets of idealism and the connectivity of all things, and whether you want to, and like quantum entanglement, I think points to some of that, but quantum physics and all these other things, right? But we started this by talking about an interesting aspect, and it was Avi Loeb, the former department chair of astrology at Harvard University. He wrote the book Extraterrestrial, which is an excellent book. It's about an interstellar object that he argues actually might be extraterrestrial. There's another article that came out that you sent me just very recently.
Yeah, I forgot what the name of it is. It's another object, right?
Yeah, well, I've actually got it brought up here. The name of the article, this is from the Herald Mail Media. Harvard scientists suggest what looks like a comet might be alien technology. An interstellar object whizzing through our solar system was widely determined to be a comet, but a trio of researchers led by Avi Loeb recently posed a different idea. Now, this sounds familiar to you, maybe if you're a fan of Avi Loeb and you've read the book Extraterrestrial, because it's essentially it's essentially the same story
as the
other thing. That,
what was it called? Something like that, right?
Oh, why am I Mao? Or
something. That's what I'm talking.
I cannot believe
we're talking about the same thing, though. It's like,
I can't believe I'm dropping this. We're gonna look this up when you take the next commercial break. We are gonna look the name of that up, and we're also gonna look up that scientific study about the baby not being touched. So we'll be able to give you whether or not that was actually accurate or not, if we can find that. But with the advent of technology and the way things are going, one might question, like, what can I believe is real? These kids that are born nowadays, they're growing up. Can you believe anything that you see? So when it comes to discernment, I don't know enough about the technology, but are there those embedded things? I mean, because not to take this into a really dark place, but I swear it's a pertinent example. The video footage of Epstein hanging himself, quote unquote, in his jail cell, which everyone agrees didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't.
Was edited. And they were able to decipher that through checking into the metadata of the video, right? So what I'm saying is the metadata, is that our key to being able to understand what truly is real anymore and what's not real? And does it have to be so dependent on device?
That's a great question.
Walking out into the world, you know what is real.
So metadata is like unadulterated, unedited data but it's so much data that it's not like very practical to be consumed. But if there's a device that was independent of the rest of the way things are being developed, like AI or whatever, that you could take your own metadata and go, I want you to filter this through my eyes and tell me what's real or what's not, right? Like sort of.
Well, that's really fascinating what you're talking about, but that's not really what I was talking about.
No, okay.
But like basically what I'm saying is metadata basically the equivalent of being like, okay, I can't believe anyone if they're telling me if it's raining or snowing. The metadata is the equivalent of, you know what? I'll just walk outside my home.
Yeah. I think that's what. Yeah. So it's basically
like you'll see it
unequivocally processed by yourself. So there's no one telling me that's not happening.
What if metadata is God?
Oh yeah, maybe.
Which would just be so boring.
But lives to get through, right? Like that's what I mean by infinite, like life after this. We got so much data to go through.
Remember, careful on the table.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's all about the word, right?
Oh yeah.
So, well, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you have these potentially interstellar objects, right? And I can give a little more information as this.
Yes.
A comet known
3I.
as 3I/Atlas made news earlier in July when it was confirmed to have originated outside of Earth's solar system. Is it an icy comet? A trio of researchers that most prominently includes Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb speculated about whether it could be alien technology. This is far from the first time that Loeb had theorized that an object in our solar system could be not only interstellar, but an extraterrestrial artifact.
Do you know what you just read? AI summary of this article.
Oh my God. Because that's why it was awkward.
No, but I mean, that's like,
But yeah, I mean, talk about onomatopoeia.
yeah, this is fascinating though. It's like most people think that it is a comet, but what is the
Well, it's not from our solar system. We know that.
okay, so it's interstellar. And
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but a comet is something that just kind of flies around in your solar system,
Right.
held there by gravity on a orbit.
Yeah, because otherwise, a comet, like a lot of times, it has returned like a schedule, whether we know it or
Halley's
not.
comet comes
Right.
every, what is it?
But it won't do like every 6 years, I think, or 74. But like a interstellar one does not have that, because once it leaves our solar system, there's no stability or maybe on a large scale there is, because they find a path with gravity through our solar system with different planets. So that's why it has like a regular path. But if it goes out of our solar system, it basically is essentially gone. Like, you know what I mean? It's not going to come back unless some remote possibility whips it around some kind of,
It's a free range chicken.
right. Yeah.
It's like somebody put a dog collar on that comet.
I like these free range comets. Come on.
So if a comet runs into our solar system, it's like a feral cat. Is there a chance that our gravity starts feeding this feral comet and it stays?
Yeah, I think so. I think once I don't know actually. I mean, I think there's a chance of that. But I think the reason that it might not is because when it comes in, like our whole solar system has found an equilibrium with it. It's not completely in equilibrium. In other words, like the moon's getting slightly closer to us, but we found all the planets and the moons and the asteroid belt have found a area where they all live and move in a long span of like being not crashing into each other. I mean, they do sometimes, but I think when something comes in, it's going to be a trajectory that, absent all the other gravity that's going to be affected by the solar system, going straight out of it. So even if it's moving left or right, being pulled different ways, I don't think it has the chance to turn around unless it, I guess, well, maybe, I don't know. I guess
Well, it's interesting. Like, where's it going and why? How is it? It was propelled through through gravity, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so an object in motion stays in motion, I guess, until it's affected by other forces. But so you got this thing going, and I'm just reciting all of the best middle school science I can remember at this point. But it makes you think like, hey, bro, where are you going?
Yeah.
And why are you in such a hurry?
Or maybe it's a response to our Voyager. Is it Voyager? Yeah, the one that we sent, 2 of them that has the gold disc, that we left our
Have you seen the images of
what they put in there?
Or have you seen like the one of the earliest ones that we sent out that has like just like an image of that's supposed to just be, that's jam packed with information?
That's what, yeah, it's like one. And I'm not positive.
It's like I want to get that tattoo.
There's 2 of them, Voyager 1 and 2, I believe. I'm not positive that I should know that name, but they put a disc on there, a golden disc that had examples of. It also had a map of how to get to us using pulsars, like certain stars that like have a pulsating rate, and they put them in a certain area and with reference to Earth. And then they also put a hydrogen atom to show the scale. So theoretically, somebody should be able to look at that and see, oh, that's the hydrogen atom because it's the basis of all elements. And then this scale here is where these pulsars are here. The Earth is over here. And so people were mad about that. Actually, they were like, we were telling you about how to get here. It's like, that's so silly to think about an advanced alien species.
So we don't want people in my yard.
But also them going, oh, this is how you get there.
Yeah. I was getting ready to say before you said that, I could find that and I could spend 10 lifetimes and I wouldn't understand how to decipher this.
I know.
This map, this code. And you've got people that are upset that we're telling them how to get here. It's like, it's like I've never wanted to just yell "shut the fuck up" to somebody.
I know.
Life, and the fear of other that would make someone say something like that.
Yeah,
is like, it's like, okay, who hurt you, bro?
That's their inner projection, because the same reason when people are scared of aliens, because they in the back of their mind are fearful that aliens will treat us like the way we treat animals that we consume, like the lower, like we treat them as like, captive torture victims, and we're afraid that somebody's gonna act like that to us because that's how we do it.
Yeah, you just break down white supremacy.
In reality, if they got here, it wouldn't matter how they, like, it's no reason to be scared or even excited. Like, they got here, they're so past us technologically that they wouldn't, like, we wouldn't have to stand a chance of any kind of uprising or fight against them. B, they wouldn't need us in any way, shape, or form. If you can bend time, space, and matter, you don't even have people like, well, maybe a slave workforce. It's like, maybe that's valid, but that advance of a species doesn't even need that. They'll just create it. So I think that somebody can get here.
You know what they don't have?
What?
My last stand-up comedy special.
They don't. Comedy Wonder Why?
I mean,
is that Jeff's joke?
Yeah, Jeff Tate.
That's pretty fun.
You
got to pick Ryan's. You got to pick up his latest special though, if you want to live.
If you want to stay alive,
live happily.
There is a map inside of it, actually.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, only people who are really, really silly will be able to decipher it.
I think I'm silly. I'm gonna go out and buy it.
Yeah, I don't go for smart people. I go for silly people. But yeah, you did say that right. Even though it's free on YouTube. Actually, let's take a break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna put a bow on this paper. I have no longer any idea how long we've been talking.
I don't either.
But we're going to be right back with my buddy Gilbert. We're talking about all kinds of things. What is the future of paranormal research, and what is the future of space exploration, and why do the flat earthers hate space so much that they just don't think it's real? We're going to be right back right after this quick break.
Hello there, this is Nigel. I am the producer of Late Night on the Astral Plane with Ryan Singer, and this is what I would designate as an information intervention. Why do I have to have an information intervention? Well, it's quite simple. Many times Ryan speaks off the cuff, elaborating about things he has, a very shallow depth of knowledge about. And it's my job to make sure that you are presented with proper, steady information, and not this fly-by-night snake oil salesman type of lingo in chatter that Ryan often presents to the listeners of the podcast of this show now and in the past as me and Paranormal You as well. There's two things that he said he would get to, and no, to no one's surprise, he didn't get to either one of them after the last commercial break. So that's why I'm jumping in here to do this. First, he was talking about a scientific study where newborn children were not touched or given any love or spoken to, and that they died. To clarify that, what he's referencing is something that was, I think, once upon a time called something like the Forbidden Experiment, right? And that's according to Roger Shaddock. That's what he labeled in the Forbidden Experiments because of the exceptional deprivation of ordinary human contact it requires. Now, there's an alleged experiment that took place by, let's see here, the Holy Roman Emperor Frederick II in the 13th century. So it would have been in the 1200s, where he raised children without human interaction. Now, they were suckled, they were given bathes, they were given baths, I should say, and these children allegedly died. Now, all these blokes, what they wanted to do is they wanted to find out what was the natural language given to humans by God, right? So they figured even without being influenced by speech patterns around them, that these children would just naturally start learning language and speaking the language of God, which, these blokes obviously wanted it to be their language, whatever that might be, whether Hebrew or otherwise. Now, this is an alleged experiment that can't be completely verified that it actually took place here. A few centuries later, James IV of Scotland was said to have raised a couple kids by a mute woman. on the island of Inchkeith, and to determine if language was learned or innate. These children were reported to have spoken good Hebrew, but historians were skeptical of these claims immediately when they were made. So this cannot be verified either. So then there was, maybe one or two other times, this experiment has been taking place. They used it on primates. They did it, all kinds of just nasty and gnarly things, allegedly. But this can't be said for certain. So just to clarify that, Ryan was talking about how that happened, how babies need human interaction, and no one's going to argue that, but will it cause death? That's quite a claim that we cannot verify here on this show. The other one was talking about Avi Loeb and talking about the new interstellar object that's passing through the solar system. The original Oumuamua is what it's called. Oumuamua is what it's called, from the book Extraterrestrial, that was discovered a handful of years ago. And now this one has very similar qualities, Atlas 3, I believe. And so here's what we're doing here. Oumuamua, what's it come from? It's Hawaiian. That's a Hawaiian name. It's a word. That's where its origins come from. And it means, translated into English, would mean scout. So there you have it, Oumuamua. And then, Frederick, did he or didn't he? We don't know. James and Freddie, Jim and Freddie, or did they have children die because of the experience? We can't know for sure. So let's stop talking like it's for certain and speaking in such, with such assurance when it comes to some of these things. I've made a note, or I've called Ryan, I've sent him emails and asked him to stop doing these things. We'll see if he ever stops. But that's your information intervention for this episode. I really, really hope I don't have to keep doing this. But here I am, doing more work than I should, because he likes to pipe off at the mouth so much then. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the chat with Gilbert and Ryan. And we'll talk again sometime soon. I'm certain of it.
Okay, so let's talk about the future of what we think. Let's just say fringe, cutting edge science, paranormal investigation. You have the congressional hearings, you have the disclosure of UFOs and UAPs or alien technology and all this kind of stuff happened. There was one where they released footage now of an orb being shot with a Hellfire missile, and the missile bounces off of the orb that is being tracked by, I believe it was Navy radar, right? So This is one of the latest, greatest that just came out in the last few days. George Knapp, who's a TV reporter and an author, and he's kind of in on this. Anyway, we don't have to get into some of that other stuff, but he's on the inside, right, on a lot of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And he was testifying in front of Congress, and apparently there are hundreds of these types of videos, right?
Really?
So now people can ask, well, is it real? Well, I think if we are taking something directly from the source, mm-hmm. right? Now, if I tell people about this might be the first time some people watching or listening to this podcast are like, this is the first I've heard about it. So now it's already third hand or fourth hand at this point, right? Information for them. Mm-hmm. So, now they have to go find it and they have to go search, and, maybe I'll try to find that video and just throw it in here, even though I don't think I have the rights to be able to do that. But so I don't, do that kind of thing. But the idea that we can't know what we're looking at unless we're experiencing it in real life with our own eyes. And even then, some people would say that's not even fully the case.
Yeah, they may chalk it up to your brain,
or the drones and the gas that they're putting in the air.
Like you just brought up something that's like interesting
for holograms, and
that might be like the most valuable next technology. Like you're saying, that took the metadata for the Epstein thing. There's going to be, I don't know enough about video technology to know, but I would think there's got to be some kind of technology that you like upload or something that will tell you how many, not how many, but if this is the first raw data of it, Like, in other words, like, you know, what are those things called?
That I mean, an authenticator of some kind.
Yeah, like what are those things that called that became obsolete so quickly? It's like a thing that you buy a picture of that's like a digital asset. What's like do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Those
An NFT.
NFT. So like an NFT for, like, say you have an alien video and you're like, well, that's, I mean, how many times has it been edited? It's like, or is this original data? Something that you put in somewhere and go, this is the NFT of this video, meaning this is the
non-fungible token.
And that would be such a valuable tool to have going forward.
I mean, what does it exist? Do
I don't
we
know
a coder out there who can make this technology for us right now? And can it be corrupted? Can it be hacked? Can it be cheated? And you know, at the end of the day, this is what I think. And I could be completely wrong.
But you're not.
And I never have been.
Never.
Specifically in regarding to the thing I'm about to say.
That's perfect timing.
Human experience and doing something with other people, I guess that's optional, will never truly be able to be replaced. Now, some people are able to try to explore this more often than others. I've been a very lucky person in my life. I've been, I don't know, some people would call it blessed, I suppose, right? But it's a very carefully crafted life to try to make room for opportunity to pursue arts and or paranormal investigation and research and things like that. And there's lots of things in this world I do without because of that, right?
Yeah, you sacrifice.
So human experience can never truly be replaced by any advanced technology. And a real encounter, a real sighting will always be and forever more thrilling, more exciting than watching a video of something.
I agree.
Now, how do, and I'm not even that worried about the how part. I sense, and now this I could be 100% wrong about. I sense that, like all things, the pendulum swings, and we will get to a point here in the somewhat near future where there'll be a reaction against all of this living inside of your phone or your devices. And people will be seeking, and I think it's already starting to happen, and I don't have any numbers or data to back that up, other than the fact that parks and hiking trails are more crowded than they used to be. I can tell you that from hiking for the last 14 years. There are more people now than there were 14 years ago out there on those trails.
That's probably a very good indicator. And I mean, like, it's probably is cyclical, and it just keeps ramping up. In other words, all this technology is advanced, and that people live in their phones or live in their alternate universes or their reality, realities that and then they like, then a retro trend happens like before, when people are like wearing Adidas or like wearing styles from the 70s. It'll be like a retro trend where people are getting together again. It's so like antiquated,
hanging out after
antiquated. It's so fun. I feel like a pilgrim or something, and then it'll keep ramping up, and it's technology advancement where it's like the more and more remote, more and more like real feeling, virtual reality, and then people will come back to it. But the reason I agree with you, the reason it'll never real human interaction will not ever be surpassed is because the same reason, like, I love nature documentaries, and I love, like, when I watch one, it's like, especially when it's beautifully shot and like, narrated or whatever, the earth is beautiful, and it shows it in like 8K or whatever. Part of the reason it's beautiful is because I know that place exists and I could possibly go visit it, and that's part of the beauty of it, because it's not a completely manufactured visual to try to tap certain buttons in my brain that releases dopamine. Part of it is like, if things were certain circumstances occurred, I could actually be in that place, making it more beautiful. Watching porn or like some kind of virtual reality thing, just like any kind of like not real thing that can occupy your mind that stimulates you. It doesn't have to be porn, it can be whatever it is. It's partly because that thing that you're being simulated actually could happen. It's exists somewhere. So when it actually, even if you don't ever visit it or don't ever experience it, the fact that it's there is part of the reason you're enjoying it, not because it's just a, made up animated like a virtual world. It's part of it is like the attainability of that thing that you're enjoying.
Well,
Right?
I 100% agree with that. I think the underlying reason why nature documentaries and the Admiral films and all these other things, Planet Earth, and even the space stuff.
Yeah,
The reason why it's so fascinating and so interesting is because it's real, and the underlying tone there is this is happening right now.
Yeah,
even though it's obviously in a different because it's filmed and it's later produced, blah 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 blah.
right.
This exists right now. It's real and it's happening right now.
Like you used to say in your maybe the last album or one before, where you're like, how many people are living in space right now on the International Space Station? If that didn't exist, and then it would just be science fiction to think about somebody living and orbiting in space. But there are some right now. They're probably passing over us, and you can go to ISS, their YouTube channel, which I totally recommend doing this if you haven't seen this. It's a live shot from there that puts me into like a very zen.
They've gotten in trouble on there.
They have?
Well, and by trouble I mean people have seen shit on the feed.
Really?
Oh yeah, we're talking about interstellar objects flying around.
Oh, I thought you meant like, oh my god.
No, they're not like oh shit, my dick was out. Not like.
You ever seen some weightless balls here? There? Oh, okay. So they had to like.
There's been, I can't authenticate this stuff now off the top of my head, but
it's on all the time. So
it's pretty fascinating. It's pretty cool. But no, I mean, it's fun to think about. And, and we teased this earlier, and I don't want to get into it. I'm not going to rail against this. But, I just wish anybody who was a flat earther, I wish they could just FaceTime with an astronaut for 5 minutes who's been to space. I don't think
that would work either.
It probably wouldn't. Like, at what point, what does it take to convince someone who is hell-bent on believing a certain narrative that the reality is actually a lot different than what they think? I think, short of shooting them into space and bringing them back, not like the tragedy that happened with the one guy who built his own rocket and ended up dying. I mean, it's sad,
kind of.
You know what I mean? But obviously he knew the risks.
Yeah.
And it was important enough to him to do it.
To take it.
He literally died doing what he loved, I suppose.
I suppose so.
But I don't know what it takes. And
I think you just described what it takes, because I think it would take something replacing their non-evidence based viewpoint that, believe it or not, is going to get a reaction from somebody when they voice them at a cocktail party, at a wedding reception, or on the internet. They're going to probably get some reaction, and that's what they want more than anything, because none of it's like real. We all know none of it's reality based. So launching someone into space to see it is less about verifying the spherical shape of the Earth and more like, I'm getting attention because I'm being launched into space now. Oh, I do see it's a sphere. Sorry guys, it is round, and everybody's looking at me now. I've replaced my dopamine and stuff like that. I think a lot of it has to do with voicing something that gets their attention, which is a lot of why negative social media exists in the first place.
Oh yeah, and to be clear, I don't think wouldn't that be wild though? It's like, the word would spread pretty quickly. Like, all you have to do is talk about the Earth being flat, and NASA will put you in space.
Oh wow, that'd be amazing.
I'd be out there wearing a flat Earth shirt every day. Like, Earth's flat. Send me up there. Prove me wrong. Like, just to have a chance to get to space.
Flat Earth. Flat. I hate flat anything.
Because I think too, what some of these people forget is that the Earth used to be flat in our minds, and the kooks were the ones who thought it was round. Yeah, I mean, it's death isn't real. Physical death isn't real. We know that on this program because of the existence of ghosts and communication through channelers, mediums, and the Akashic records or source or whatever. We've got plenty of evidence of that. We've got video evidence. We've got EVPs, instrumental transcommunication. We're getting communications from the other side. This stuff is showing us that, getting caught up in the trials and tribulations of the physical world can be our downfall. That doesn't mean we don't have to stand up for what's right. And that doesn't mean we have to sit back idly and let something unfold in front of us that we could help prevent. But what it does mean is, we're here for a good time, not a long time. And then we'll be back again. And we know that. And Gilbert, I'm sure you'll be back on the show again.
If I'm still alive in this physical form,
And
then
if you die, God forbid you die.
God does forbid that, everyone.
I appreciate that, God. Whoever,
No, I'd love this.
whoever that may be. You will.
I'll be back.
If I die before you,
Don't say that. Oh, you're gonna die before September 27, 2027. He nailed it.
You have to. You have to do one final episode of my show.
Okay.
Where you contact me with a Ouija board.
Oh, for sure. Oh, you think I'm not contacting you? You're the first person.
Thank
One of my friends is going to be accepting of the fact that
I will spell out on a Ouija board. I'll tell you right now. And for anyone listening, and I'll try to remember this, and I'm sure I'll remember it because I'll have access to all knowledge when I'm on the other side of physical form. You get a Ouija board out as soon as I'm gone. And if you want confirmation that you may be communicating with me, you will know it is me because I will, one of two words.
Okay.
It'll be milkshake. I will spell out milkshake on your Ouija board, or banana, which is just a really fun word.
Fun word to say.
Fun
milkshake,
word.
the most
Banana.
Banana. That is banana. And the
And
most delicious thing you can consume.
yes.
I agree with them.
So milkshake and banana and milkshake. Those are the Ouija board words for Ryan. And so that's when you know you're communicating with me. Milkshake or banana.
But most likely, we all know I'm most likely going to go before you, before anyone.
Or we could go together.
Oh, we could. We're going together.
We're going together. Okay, Gilbert. Let's say goodbye.
Okay, goodbye. Thank you for having me, Ryan. It's always a pleasure.
Where do you want people following you on Instagram?
I don't want anyone following me or even listening to me or even consuming any of my propaganda because it's so funny that it'll ruin your life. No, check out my special. It's Racky Born Georgia Bread. You can find it on Amazon Prime or Apple.
Highly recommended.
Thank you.
Highly recommended.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for doing it, buddy. We'll talk again soon. Now we're gonna go night swimming.
I think night swimming.
Wow.
Night gardening at night.